video is dedicated to Rodrigo Gasparini, who kindly supported my latest Kickstarter project. In this video, I'm going to be talking about positioning of the body and selection of an appropriate cello playing chair. The two main considerations with a chair that you're looking at are how high it is and what the angle of the seat is like. So my chair is, I believe, what is called a cello chair. It's officially a cello chair. And I actually had it special ordered, made for me based on my height. And height-wise, what I'm looking for is that when I'm sitting on the front edge of my chair, that my knees are slightly below the hips. Okay, and that helps keep my pelvis tilted slightly forward, not much. Okay, so knees slightly below the hips, that's the ideal. Now, if you are a taller person, it can definitely be challenging to find a chair that is an appropriate height. So some things that people do, tall people do, is they might perhaps stack two chairs, one on top of one another, okay? Or tall people sometimes like the bent end pins, if you've seen those, okay? Those can help clear the knees with the bow. Or you might need to sit a little further back on your chair, okay? Some of those things can help if you're on the taller side. But if you're not so tall, then front edge of the chair is ideal, right? Now, as far as the angle of the chair goes, we're looking for something that is ideally tilted forward just a little bit. Could be completely straight across, flat across, but tilted forwards even a wee bit better. But definitely not tilted back or anything that dips in the middle. It's also nice just to have a cushion on the chair too, because if you're going to be sitting there practicing for many, many hours at a time, this will help keep you comfortable. So, the feet are certainly an important consideration. And again, ideally, the feet should be pretty much directly below the knees. Now, if you are a tall person, you might find that you need to pull them back slightly further, but you definitely don't want to get into any habits like this. Okay, our feet are our roots, and so we want them solidly flat on the ground. Then when we actually bring our cello into our body, one of the main things we're looking for is that our body stays upright, maybe even tilted forward slightly, and definitely we do not cave in when the cello comes to our body. Okay, so we are maintaining our position and it's just resting gently against us. Now, you could even, as I mentioned, lean forward slightly towards it. If you've ever seen one of those card houses people build out of cards, they lean the cards gently against each other, and that's what creates that balance, right? And if one is a little off, well, then the card's going to fall over. So you can think of it the same way, that your body is coming forward just a little bit to meet the cello, so that neither of you, go falling in the opposite direction. Now, as far as where the cello meets your chest, this is definitely, in many ways, a matter of personal preference. And certainly for women, each woman for herself needs to answer the very important question of above the boobs or below the boobs. I know that I have this part of the cello right here, pretty much touching right where my ribs come together. Okay, and I think that's pretty standard. Now, if it's too high, of course, the angle of your cello will probably be a little too vertical, and this will be coming up way above your head. And if it's too low, well, then we've got problems there as well. Okay, so this peg here can kind of slip in right behind your neck and should not make your head jut forward or anything like that, right? We should be able to keep our head tall. Now, a lot of people have great success with the, I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, but the peg for the C string that is not there, and you use a key to turn it. Posture peg, that's what it's called. And so for people who maybe it doesn't slide so easily right there behind their neck, that can be one approach that can help you maintain your posture without having to mess with your angle too terribly much. Okay, so we're looking for that. Then the end pin height is basically determined by all those other things. So it can be very helpful if you have someone there with you to start without your end pin out, get yourself situated so that it's meeting where you want it at your chest. This is coming back behind your neck where you want it. And your knees are comfortably supporting it in a way that, these knobby things don't jab into your legs in uncomfortable ways. And then from there, have somebody else take your end pin and pull it out and figure out how long it needs to be, based on that specific chair. Now, your end pin height is going to be different for every different height chair you sit in. Okay, so there's not just you mark it and you leave it there forever. If you stay in the same chair, it should continue to work. If you change chairs, then you will need to adjust your end pin accordingly. So it's still hitting you in the same place here, and this is still coming in here, and the ribs of your cello are still comfortable on the insides of your legs. All right? I think that is all I need to say. So, good luck. You probably need to experiment around. Takes a while to find that perfect spot where your cello and your body really can work as one.